Today I'm going to be breaking down a song called Nefertiti from the Manakimia original soundtrack. This is a coffee personal request that comes from To Moa. So thank you very much for your incredible support. And boom! Those pedal note decorations were really cool. What? Some heavy metal, speed metal kind of thing. Great lead melody. Those synthesizer arrangements are pretty cool. Now with the double bass. Okay, well now it sounds more like power metal. That was a cool solo. That riff sounds like an Alcatraz song. Can't remember the name of it. This one. The lead guitar work is so good. Oh my god. Apologies. Oh! This guitar solo is mean as hell. I would have never imagined this will have a song like this in the soundtrack. Coming back to the power metal part. The decorations, beautification elements with the pedal notes. Another solo? The guitar player in this track was insane. Oh, why? Yes! It was insane. So let's break it down. I think this Manakemia track is a straightforward, good old-fashioned 80s metal song. So for this particular breakdown, I just want to change it up and actually talk about established metal bands and how which things are influencing this song from those some of those assorted bands, and how, you know, this heavy metal song actually came to be in a video game, because this is not something that you hear often in Western games at all, you know what I mean? This is something that actually is more of an Eastern thing. I'm guessing this game is a Japanese game, but if not, it sounds very much like in the zeitgeist of the pop culture of the country. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the metal. Okay, I heard that the song is essentially mixing and matching different genres of metal in general, but very specifically, of course, some of the most popular ones throughout the 80s, at least probably throughout all the 80s, I would say. You know, you have very traditional heavy metal, you have speed metal too, and you also have a little bit of power metal in it, because, you know, at least the main riff, it sounds to me like it has this Motorhead sort of feel. We have a little bit of Halloween maybe with the power metal, and Yngwie Malmsteen too, or Stratovarius for the power metal neoclassical part of the song. And I did mention a very specific band during my reaction, which is Alcatraz. And now I remember the song that I was thinking about, which is called Jet to Jet. I'm not really sure if I can place the song here, because it will probably get copyrighted, but look it out, it's called Jet to Jet. And you compare the main riff of that song and you compare it to the main riff of this song, and you will hear something that might surprise you. Now, what I was talking about before pertains to the rhythm part, the rhythm section of the song. And obviously, I mean, this song is absolutely guitar driven, you know, it's all about the guitars in this song. The lead guitar were, you know, insane. I don't know if this is only a one guitar player or if there's two guitar players in performing the song, but it reminded me so much of those Shrapnel Records with virtuosos from the 80s. Now, to put a little bit of context into that, in the 80s saw an explosion of, you know, guitar virtuoso players that took the guitar playing to a whole nother level. Like, we were here and they didn't bump to here. No, they didn't do that. They bumped it to here, like beyond we would imagine, okay? And Shrapnel Records was a record label, or still is, I can't remember if they still exist or not, that signed a lot of, you know, some of those guitar virtuosos from the 80s. Now, of course, I can't help but to think that when you hear the guitar leads harmonizing the melodies and whatnot, to think about, you know, two guitar players, you know. Of course, for the purposes of the song, one guitar player can do that, you know. You just record the main melody and then you record another track harmonizing the melody. That's very common practice if you're a solo guitar player in the band. But if there were two guitar players, it reminded me so much of also, you know, bands like Eraser X, which had Paul Gilbert, and a Cacophony from with Jason Becker and Marty Friedman. You know, those two bands were the most insane guitar duos of the 80s, or they were certainly on the top 3, I would say. So it reminded me so much of that. And you know, there's this persistence of the 80s, you know, the old-fashioned 80s metal song. And this is where I'm going to connect with what I was saying about the Japanese culture, because something something I like about this is that these Japanese games, assuming this is a Japanese game, they are not scared of doing this kind of OSTs, you know. They're not scared of going back in time and just doing an old-fashioned 80s metal song. That will be like unthinkable for Western studios or publishers, you know. Like, we're going to place an 80s song unless it's like a very thematically a thing, you know, like it's a video game set in the 80s, or it's something related to the actual genre of music. You're not gonna hear a metal song. Although Mick Gordon started changing that a little bit into when he did the Killer Instinct soundtrack and the Doom soundtrack, of course. But of course, that's a modern take of metal. This is like old-fashioned 80s metal, okay? So I think the Japanese culture is imbued into that. Like, they are very traditional in many of the things in their culture, and they are very adverse to change too. So I guess that in Japan, it's still cool to be an 80s metal song, you know. It's cool to listen to 80s metal, and I'm not saying, of course, that it's uncool to listen to 80s metal. I'm just saying that in comparison to the Western world, you know, having an 80s metal song in a video game is still pretty cool and pretty part of a culture, while in maybe in the US and whatnot and Europe, it will be seen like tacky or you know, a dinosaur kind of thing, you know, something practiced a long time ago. Now, in terms of the storytelling of a song, honest to God, I have to admit, I have no idea where this could be playing. I don't know if this is a section of it. I don't even know what sort of game this is. Is this like a bullet hell kind of game? Because, you know, bullet hell's games have this kind of soundtracks. You know, they're very energetic, guitar driven too. But honestly, I don't know. What I would say, my first impression of it is like, this sounds more like an anime opening than an original soundtrack for a video game. But I did see a little bit of the artwork of this video game, and you know, it looks like anime characters and whatnot. The song is also in 140 BPM, or beats per minute, so that's related to the tempo. It means how fast the tempo. How fast the song is, and it's basically that it's 140 beats per minute. Okay, so I'm gonna give this song a B tier. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, check out this other breakdown that I did, and if you would like to support my work further, you can check the support section in the description of this video, where you can find my Patreon and all the other links. Right? Thank you very much.